I believe, and I just completed an interview a few days ago here in Philadelphia with the Art of Dialogue podcast on YouTube, and he asked me the same question. Although he did bring out some good points, I thought Kevin Samuels' assessment of black women and the mistakes that they make in relationships with our men, I thought his assessment was very Eurocentric and extremely materialistic. He focused on income and physical appearance. And I think Kevin Samuels' message, especially when heard by our teenage girls who will soon be old enough to make their own decisions about what to do with their bodies, I thought it was very dangerous because it basically reduced black men. It reduced the interests of black men in our women to what they look like and what they earn. And I think we already have enough black women desecrating their bodies.
And we're back live here in the studios of 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live worldwide at WURDradio.com, WURD TV, Facebook Live, and 96.1 FM, 900 AM. We're here on the phone line with Dr. Umar Tunde Johnson. I'm David Barnes, photo man for you too. A couple of questions, Doctor, I wanted to ask you about. Something that's really been on my mind a lot is the state of mind of young people today, teenagers. I know we talked to last time, you said that a lot of our teenagers have just lost their youth. They've gone from being toddlers to actually being adults. And so I wanted to ask you about that for people that may not have heard you then. What is it that's going on with our young people? And you as a child psychologist, what can we do to try to save our children? You know, Brother Shamari has a book out called Why Our Children Hate Us. And I'm asking you, what can we do as parents and community parents?
We have to re-implement childhood as a clearly defined stage of healthy black child development. That's the problem. There is no more childhood in the black community. This is our fault as well as the fault of the larger society. So, for example, we know that without question there's a movement by the community to normalize sex between adults and the North American Association of Man and Boy Love is still out there pushing that. There's certain cells within the white psychiatry movement. There's certain cells within the white psychology movement. There's certain cells within the white LGBTQIA plus community who are working as hard as they can to get decriminalized. So right there, you're looking at the stripping away of childhood, because you're now saying that children have the maturity to decide to have sex even before they're going through puberty now. They're not even sexually attracted to anyone. So how can a child make decisions about sex and they're not even in the position psychologically or physically to engage in it? But that's the agenda of the community. So that is a stripping away of childhood. And then you look at the government's population control agenda, which is being very aggressively pushed by President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, as it was initiated by former Democratic President Barack Obama. He's the father of this on the federal level, pushing this thing down the throats of children in public school when he liberated the bathrooms from any particular gender, saying girls could go to the boys' bathroom and boys could go to the girls' bathroom. Nobody else did that but Barack Obama. Donald Trump did repeal it when he took office, but after he left office, Joe Biden re-implemented it. So clearly you see there's an agenda sexually to eliminate childhood. And then when you come outside of sex and we just look at sociology and the everyday functioning of the black community, because most of our kids are being raised by single mothers, no fault of the sisters, and to some extent, it's not even fault of the fathers because of the targeting of black men in the criminal justice system. We have children who are forced to assume, adult responsibilities, taking care of their younger siblings, cooking for themselves, looking after the house while mom is away working 2 and 3 jobs. And then, of course, because the mother isn't always there, and so many of our kids are either homeless or single parented, they have unbridled access in a way you and I never had growing up, Bobby David, when it comes to selecting what they want to watch on television, what they want to listen to on the radio, what websites they want to go to on their phone or on their laptop. And for the life of me, I can't believe that black parents are not putting parental controls on their children's cell phones and laptops. You can control, where they can't go. You can control where they do go. But again, we are so comfortable with not protecting of what our children have access to, that it has given rise to a population of baby adults, if you would, young adults. As I said the last time we conversated, once a black child turns 12 years old, you can even argue 8, but I'm going to be conservative and say 12. Once a black child turns 12, you can make the argument that although they are technically still a child, practically they're adults. There's very little adults do that children don't have access to after their 12th birthday.
And that is right. And I think it's the exposure to so many things. Like you said, they have access to everything. There's internet, social media, pornography. And when you talked about, I think that a lot of people may not understand that when the word means people that like children that are pubescent, not pre-puberty. That I heard that once they become teenagers, they don't even like them. They're too old for them, so they like them pre-teenagers.
That is very true. But also, Bob and David, let us not miss the agenda of those who participate in certain secret societies at the top of the European economic elite, and those who partake in demonic type of religious
ritual stuff,
service. You know, where they need virgin children. Virgin children are very important to the elite secret societies of the white power structure, and they are very important to those who engage in demonic types of ritualistic behaviors. Virgin children are very important. I tell people all the time, the vampire. The vampire in European mythology, Bob, the reason why the vampire is so popular, because that vampire, is a metaphor for what is actually done in European secret societies. They young children, and then they drink the brain fluid of young children because they believe this helps them live longer. This is true. If you do the research on, what was his name, Jerry Epstein,
yes,
and many of those who was going to the Epstein Island,
yes,
they were doing that not only because they had a sick infatuation for children, but they were also doing it, Baba, because in their religious beliefs, their sick demonic religious beliefs, they believe that children, violation of children, and of course the consummation of the bodily fluids of virgin children helps them live longer. This is a major part of white power structure belief and how they expect to live as long as they possibly can.
That's amazing. And of course we see things like that in the movies, but to understand how really are is really astonishing. What do you think about this Jada Smith thing that's up in the air now? Should we? I know you say that's not our fight, but
I believe, and I just completed an interview a few days ago here in Philadelphia with the Art of Dialogue podcast on YouTube, and he asked me the same question. And simply put, Will Smith did not have a prenuptial agreement with Sister Jada. Why did Will Smith not have a prenuptial agreement with Sister Jada? I have no idea. Because at the time that they were married, he was the hottest movie star in America, and he's still one of the top ones now. And he's the only Hollywood superstar to ever garner 10 consecutive #1 box office hits, Baba. Only Will has done that.
Wow.
Tom Hanks didn't do it. Denzel didn't do it.
Wow.
Will Smith is the only one with 10 consecutive #1 box office movies. He's the first rapper to win a Grammy Award. Why he got married without a prenup, I don't understand it. But I think he's made up his mind that he's not getting a divorce because he would lose too much. And to be honest with you, if I was in his position, I wouldn't do it as well. No disrespect to Sister Jada. I'm not sure how much of a role she played in his success, but I believe when they got married, he was already, quote unquote, Will Smith. And so I think for him, from his position, it's cheaper to keep her. And I think the reason why she keeps on undermining him and disrespecting their marriage, by bringing up old stuff about her and Tupac and, talking about Chris Rock wanted to have sex with her. Why would you bring that up when your husband, just had a physical altercation with him at the Emmys 2 years ago? I think she's trying to embarrass him, insult him, and anger him into getting a divorce anyway. That's what I think this is. Jada Pinkett is revolting against the fact that man ain't divorcing you and giving you half of what he's earned. He's not going to do it. And she's angry because of it. That's the conclusion where I am.
Yeah, because I hear he's worth about $50 million or maybe $150 million.
He got to be more than that.
Yeah, he's worth about $150 million. She's
at
only
least
worth
$150 million. And I would probably guess he's probably closer to a $500 million.
Okay.
Will got to be up there. I mean, some of them paydays he got for the Wild Wild West and, Men in Black 1 and 2. And yes, it's been
Bad
a few
Boys.
years, since those were hits. But
that's right.
I mean, if he managed his money well, I think he's up there around $500 million status, minimally.
Right. Because they got other stuff too, production companies.
Absolutely. And I just think she's at a point in her life where she wants to be cut free and she just wants to go do her thing, which she can do because from what I understand, they haven't lived together for several years. So they're basically operating, as a divorced couple anyway, but he's not going to legally do it because if he initiates a divorce, she gets half. If she initiates a divorce, I'm not sure if she gets as much. And she knows that because there was an interview that they did. It was on one platform, Baba David, with a white interviewer. And it was a very relaxed, positive, upbeat, comical conversation. But the white guy jokingly asked, he said, "Why are you two guys still married?" And guess who answered the question? Jada. And guess what Jada said? It's cheaper to keep her. She said that out of her mouth, Baba. Yeah. It's cheaper to keep her. So she basically said, he's not going to divorce me.
Well, yeah, and you don't have to be divorced to separate.
Well, they're separated now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They're legally separated, but they live their lives apart. They do their own thing. But see, she wants the money too, Baba. She wants the money.
But she can't embarrass him.
And he's not going to do it, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
She put it all out there now. Ain't no embarrassing. It's all out there. All right, so listen, we got to take a break in this last segment here. We'll come back in the conversation with Dr. Umar Johnson. If you want to join the conversation, I should have said this at the beginning, but if you want to join the conversation, you could have called at 215-634-8065. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation here at WURD. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Dr. Johnson. Another question that I wanted to ask you, we were just talking about Jada and Will, but another question I wanted to ask you about, which has been, I wanted to know how you felt about Kevin Samuels. I used to listen to him, and sometimes I would enjoy some of his comments. What was your spin on Kevin Samuels?
Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He and I had two radically different approaches to the crisis in black male-female relationships. Although he did bring out some good points, I thought Kevin Samuels' assessment of black women and the mistakes that they make in relationships with our men, I thought his assessment was very Eurocentric and extremely materialistic. He focused on income and physical appearance far more than what I thought was what I thought would be healthy. There was very little balance there, very little balance. It was all about, what you earn and what you look like, and I didn't think that was a good example, especially for our young women, especially at this time, Baba, because as you know, we got record numbers of black women traveling to the Dominican Republic, Mexico, and other places to get dangerous surgery to alter their bodies. The BBLs, the big butts, the breasts, the face injections. Black women are literally desecrating their sacred temples in order to become more appealing to black men. And I think Kevin Samuels' message, especially when heard by our teenage girls who will soon be old enough to make their own decisions about what to do with their bodies, I thought it was very dangerous because it basically reduced black men. It reduced the interest of black men in our women to what they look like and what they earn. And I think we already have enough black women desecrating their bodies, to try to become more attractive. They're already wearing weave and wig all day long. He definitely wasn't a proponent of natural black beauty at all. Again, he was very Eurocentric in his approach. And I don't want to dismiss the positive things that the brother said now that he's with the ancestors, but I would not have co-signed his message.
But some of his message was saying how a lot of our sisters are out of order in the way that they are.
Bring your volume up again, Bobby David. It went back down.
Is that better?
There you go.
Yes, okay. So some of the things he was saying about black women not being able to take responsibility and being held accountable, I found that to be kind of true, because some of these sisters you can't say nothing to, and as far as them their appearance, I took my granddaughter to the Powerhouse, and I wish I hadn't. I was really sorry that I did, but I took her to the Powerhouse to see, what was her name, Ice Spice, and supposed to be Sexy Red. And I didn't want to, but she had a heart set on going, and so I said, okay, I'll go along. But what she wore was outrageous. But so I said, well, I can't change it now because, you know, that's what she got on when I picked her up. But the thing that they are portraying with the mini skirts, butts hanging out, the lasciviousness, you know, I'm not sure how we're going to rein all that back in. I'm really troubled by that.
In order to rein it in, the black community, and I want to, as much as possible, we as a people, Baba David, we have to start substituting the word community for parent. We have to stop saying parents, because many of our children don't have parents. Many of our children have been put up for adoption, homeless, dropped off, left off, parents incarcerated. We can't say parents because many of our children don't have parents. It's community. African culture, it's the community that comes together to raise the children. It's not the sole responsibility of parents, but we as a community have to start dictating policy. We don't have any policy when it comes to child rearing. You know, children in our community are not going to be surfing certain websites. They're not going to be looking at porn. And for the record, Baba David, the #1 complaint I've gotten from black parents in the past 3 years, and I've just heard 2 more complaints over the past week as it relates to inappropriate internet surfing by their boys, has been pornography, gay in particular. I've been hearing nothing but complaints from black mothers and fathers occasionally about their sons surfing pornography sites. And you know what? A lot of that is due to the Barack Obama, Joe Biden LGBTQ agenda within the public schools, which is a part of global population control for African people. And so Baba David, a child's mind is curious. A child is curious. So if you go to a public school and your teachers keep talking about gay sex, you know, textbooks got gay couples, TV ain't nothing but same sex, you're going to get curious. And so a lot of these 4th and 5th grade kids, you know, they're going on the internet trying to see what is this gay life all about, because after all, it's being pushed down my throat everywhere I turn. And nobody's educating the children to let them know that this is really not about you becoming a homosexual per se. It's about you not building a traditional black family with a black woman, because they're trying to eliminate us as a people. The LGBT agenda is an agenda. The United Nations has predicted or projected that 1 in 4 people in the world, Baba David, by 2050 will be an African. 1 out of 4 people in the world, every 4 people will be an African. They tried AIDS, it didn't work. They tried, it didn't kill enough. They tried poor health, poor food, mass incarceration, police genocide, black on black crime. It's not working enough. It is part of God's design for African people to always proliferate this planet. The problem is we're not doing anything with the numbers that we have in order to safeguard our destiny.
Now, what about if they had not done all those things to us, to oppress us? Just imagine what situation, condition we would be in right now today.
Oh, wow. That's an excellent point, Baba. You're saying if the transatlantic slave trade never happened, if African colonization never happened, if our development as a people was never arrested by the Caucasian, where would we be as a race? That is an amazing thought to ponder. And the second thought to ponder, Baba, is how do we get back to a foundation of cultural normalcy? That's what we need, cultural normalcy, so we can pick up where we left off. Because there's an African proverb that says, as long as babies are still being born to black women, God hasn't given up on the African race yet. So we still have time. And Baba, I wanted to say, because during the break, you played a commercial about the James Fortin exhibit at the American Revolutionary War Museum. I was just there yesterday for the 3rd time. For the 3rd time. I took my mother a few weeks ago. I want every black Philadelphian, everybody in New Jersey, Maryland, across the world, if you're coming to Philly or if you could get to Philadelphia, there's 3 places you got to go. The first one is the African American Museum. They have an excellent exhibit on the 1st floor about Black resistance to slavery and Black culture and community during the colonial period. We're talking the 1700s, before Frederick Douglass, before Harriet Tubman, before Malcolm and King. Please take a look at the exhibit on the first floor at the African American Museum at 6th and Arch, and then walk 1 block away to the National Constitution Center. And on their first floor, Baba, they have an excellent exhibit on the Civil War and Reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Civil War is one of the best Civil War Reconstruction exhibits I've seen. And the third place they need to go, which is about 4 blocks away, is the Revolutionary War Museum, so they can see the James Fortin exhibit. And Baba, all the exhibits have original artifacts. There's original artifacts in that Civil War Museum, and there's original artifacts in that James Fortin exhibit. Excuse me, they have to go see it. You must see that in Philadelphia. Must see. And I'm going to be leading a group tour. For those who are interested, I'm going to be leading a group walking tour of Black history in Old City, Philadelphia. And the first one will take place before the end of this month. And I'm going to put that information up on my social media for those who are interested in going, because there's so much we have in Philadelphia, especially Old City, because we are the oldest free Black community in the United States, and our people don't know half the story.
I know that's right. They don't know a small portion of the story. They try to hide the rest of it. Try to hide it.
For example, a lot of Africans, Bob and David, don't know that we fought in the Revolutionary War. They don't know that. There were thousands of African men in the Revolutionary War. In fact, there's a picture of James Fortin on exhibit as a child standing outside Independence Hall while the 3rd Rhode Island Regiment was marching through Philadelphia. All Black regiment from Rhode Island. All Black. Everybody Black. Marching past Philadelphia, past Independence Hall, on their way to fight the British. Wow. And of course, as you know, we fought with the British also. So, you know, our history is very, very deep. And you know, at the front, at the corner of Front and Market Street, the London coffee house is where they used to house our ancestors once they got off the ship. And thanks to Charles Blockson, I don't know if he's still with us yet or if he's an ancestor, but thanks to him, he had that historical marker put at the corner of Front and Market to commemorate the ancestors who was housed in the London coffee house.
I was just down there in Front Market and saw the house just the other day. I was down to this restaurant, African restaurant on 106 Chestnut Street, and I walked back up to Market, and I just right out there in front of Market Street. But Dr. Umar Johnson, we got a late start today at our 12 o'clock, but we have some other guests coming on at 1 o'clock, but it's after 1 now. We have, I see Yanina Carter on the phone line, and we have Patrick and Jadu on the phone line. I'm looking for a call from my good friend Malik Tall, who is a Senegalese fashion designer. He's scheduled to call in. I'm not sure if I was able to get him the other new Zoom number, but when we go on a commercial break, I'm going to WhatsApp him and see if he can Zoom in with us. But is there anything that you want to say to us before you go away today, Doctor?
Yes, indeed. Please hit that Cash App, $ FDMG School. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. If anyone needs to reach me, 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. I am a certified school psychologist. If you're having issues with your children, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're interested in going on my Black History walking tour of Old City, Philadelphia, please text message me so I can send you the information when we are ready. Peace.
I'd like to do that myself. I would like to do that walking tour, because I know I'm going to get the truth from you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Umar Johnson.
All right now.
All right. Thank you.